Tonight on News at 10, a new era for the United States Supreme Court. 22 airline employees charged with running a drug smuggling ring. Final services for 14 victims of the Cerritos disaster. And it's victory in the West for the California Angels.
I'm back in the saddle again, out where a friend is a friend, where the longhorn cattle feed on the lowly Jimson weed. I'm back in the saddle again.
Channel 5 News at 10, the #1 primetime news hour in Los Angeles. Now, award-winning Hal Fishman, T.U. Lake, Larry McCormick, Keith Olbermann with sports, and the entire Channel 5 news team.
Good evening. President Reagan vetoed the congressional package of tough economic sanctions against South Africa tonight. The president said the sanctions amounted to declaring economic warfare against the people of South Africa. The veto was met with strong reactions by those who want to see the legislation passed.
It is clear that his foreign policy is without principle, without integrity, and without a moral basis. The House of Representatives and the Senate of the United States will override that veto and place America on the right side of history.
Now is the time for the United States to represent hope and justice for millions who are struggling in South Africa. Apartheid is wrong. The Congress has stated it's wrong.
President Reagan has vetoed 50 bills during his presidency, and only 5 have been overturned by Congress. But none of the override votes was on such a major and important issue. Here in California, Governor George Deukmejian signed landmark legislation that would divest $11 billion in state investments from companies doing business with South Africa. The governor identified California as the world's 7th largest economy and said he believes that strong actions in enacting this legislation will really make a difference. Governor Deukmejian signed the bill in a ceremony at the State Building in San Francisco. Earlier today, William Rehnquist took the oath of office as he was sworn in as the 16th Chief Justice of the United States.
I, William H. Rehnquist, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
President Reagan praised Rehnquist as a brilliant jurist. Rehnquist thanked the president for his confidence.
Mr. President, I am grateful beyond measure to you for affording me the opportunity to serve the court and to serve my country as Chief Justice of the United States. And I pray that God will grant me the patience, the wisdom, and the fortitude to worthily follow in the footsteps of my illustrious predecessors in discharging the responsibilities of this high office.
Judge Antonin Scalia was then sworn in to fill Rehnquist's seat as Associate Justice. The historic installation comes just 9 days after the Senate voted 65 to 33 to confirm Rehnquist, and it comes 10 days before the start of the court's new term on the traditional first Monday in October. To you.
Hal, in Palos Verdes, mourners paid their last respects to 14 victims of the Aeromexico airline disaster. About 200 people attended the funeral service held on a green hillside overlooking Los Angeles Harbor. 12 of the caskets contain the remains of victims who are still unidentified. All were buried in separate, unmarked graves following the interdenominational service.
God of compassion, bring them into thy presence and let their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life.
We call on the God of our ancestors and our God to hear us as we mourn, to be present with us in our grief as we participate in these tender moments of remembrance for those who have died.
One of the unidentified victims is believed to be the Aeromexico pilot, Arturo Prom. A captain's hat belonging to Prom was placed atop the Mexican flag that was draped on one of the coffins. Some 20 pilots from Mexico's 2 national airlines were among the mourners today. Homicide detectives say they're gaining ground in the hunt for 2 suspects wanted for Tuesday's murder of high school coach Sterling Hart. Today, at school in Torrance, students and faculty held a moving service in memory of this very popular teacher. Warren Wilson reports.
The whole student body, alumni and friends, packed the auditorium. But this time, they didn't come to cheer basketball coach Sterling Hart and his team. They mourned his brutal murder and celebrated the memory of his contribution to this school and others where his name meant something special.
And though you are gone in body, your spirit will forever remain in my heart, in my soul, and I will think of you all the days of my life.
The fact that good and innocent people suffer. The fact that there are senseless and tragic killings. That is what we call the mystery of evil.
The memorial services heard members of his basketball team honoring their leader with short prayers.
We pray for all those unfortunate people who never had a chance to know Sterling Hart, that they will someday encounter a man as wonderful as him.
His wife, Annette Hart, was among the crowd. Meanwhile, police said sketches shown to the public had produced new but unspecified evidence relating to Hart's killing in Hollywood earlier this week. Today, 2 investigators went to San Bernardino, where the suspected killers lived. They expressed optimism that Hart's murder would soon be solved. From Torrance, Warren Wilson, Channel 5 News at 10.
And tonight's big story in the world of sports, the California Angels are the champions of the Western Division in the American League, as you saw earlier right here on KTLA Channel 5. Well, now, let's go live to Keith Olbermann at the Big A for tonight's highlights. It looks like kind of a damp Keith Olbermann.
Angels who are celebrating in these typical jubilant fashion here, and congratulations, Doug. What a hard-fought season, and this the way it finished, especially with that sudden outburst in the 6th inning, it's got to be just a delight.
I'll tell you, it is. It's a privilege to play on this team. I'm just glad to be a part of it, and you know, we knew what we had to do tonight. We went out, it was struggling there for a while, and then we really turned it around, and that's just great. I love it.
Now, I'm sure you've already been asked about 6 questions about the Boston Red Sox, but I would really tend to doubt that's of real importance at the moment.
Who are they?
Thanks.
I'm not worried about anybody right now. I'm enjoying what we have. This is what we, you know, it's what you go to spring training, put on your uniform the first day, and your #1 goal is to be right here where we are right now.
Is there anything?
We've got a couple of other things to do before the season's over, but in order to get there to the end of the World Series, you had to be here right now, and that's what it's about.
A lot of us dopes in the media said when the season started, or talked about the veteran status of this team and will they make it and all the rest of that. Do you feel any extra special sense of satisfaction at this point?
Darn right I do. You know, we've been put to the test in a lot of different things, and a lot of us have gone through different things through the course of the year, but you know what? We came out on top, and that's what it's all about. And as I said, I'm really proud to be a part of this team. All the guys, Bob Boone, Brian Downing, Reggie, you know, and it's just been a great year as far as, you know, we've had to battle, we've come together. Our pitching staff's done a great job for us. It's always kept us right in the game, and it's allowed us to make those comebacks that we've been able to make, and you know, it's just a bright future for this club right now, and we're going to step right in, and you know, after we celebrate, we'll worry about what we do after tomorrow.
Very good. All right, Doug. Thanks much.
I'm not pouring. I'm not
good. Enjoy. Let's see if we can show it to you how it happened so far tonight. If we can roll the tape of the highlights. It had started poorly. The Angels had done nothing against Mike Mason into the 6th. He'd mowed down 13 in a row, led 2-zip when Pettis chose this moment, did his first right-handed career homer, and it's 2-1. After a Hara error, Bobby Valentine mysteriously pulled Mason, who'd only given up 3 hits. He brought in Dale Mahorsic, and Brian Downing took Mahorsic out. A no doubt about it 2-run job that turned it into an Angel lead 3-2. And as Brian circled the bases, there was more to come. As insurance, George Hendrick follows the pattern. 3 homers in 1 inning. And the Angels, who had but those 3 hits in the first 5 frames and had twice stranded runners at third with 1 out, are ahead 4-2. And in the 7th, they wrap it up. 4 more big runs, highlighted by Downing's 2nd homer of the game. This one a 3-run shot, and the Texas Rangers are as dead as Marley's ghost. And then for your final out after the Downing celebration, Donnie Moore came in after John Candelaria's 9-strikeout performance, whiffed Gino Petralli, and the celebration was on. The Angels had won their first divisional championship since '82, their 3rd in the last 8 years. And what a spectacular evening it's been at Anaheim as the Angels celebrate, and we all do something about our hair. Now, that'll do it for the moment from Anaheim Stadium, from the championship locker room of the California Angels, Western Division champs for 1986. Back to the studio.
Okay, Keith, I hope that was vintage champagne that they poured over you there. Tonight was also the payoff for thousands of loyal Angels fans. Many of them told Stan Chambers that they could see the momentum building all season.
Angel fans have waited a long time for tonight, and the fans at Anaheim have been loyal all year long. And believe me, they're looking ahead to some more big Angel victories.
Well, I think it's tremendous and a fitting finale to go against Texas.
Well, I think the Angels are going to go all the way. We'll win the West, and I think that we will. Unfortunately, we'll probably play the Mets, but I think we'll beat them. I think our pitching is strong.
First of all, I think of Gene Autry, and he's certainly done everything to make it possible. And all of the fellows that were in the paper this morning, the 9 that are really making the machine go, we're all for them.
What do you think? They're rad.
What do you think about the team this year?
I love them. We're White Sox fans from Chicago, but we're living out here and we're Angel fans.
50 games we're seeing this year. Yes, it's been a great year for the California Angels, and as the fans say, they could go all the way. From Anaheim Stadium, Stan Chambers, Channel 5 News at 10.
When we come right back, an official apology from the Prime Minister of Japan. A journalist is kidnapped on the streets of Beirut, but then he escapes. And a report on traveling to France in the wake of recent terrorist activities.
This year, if you want your money to go further, you don't have to go far at all. Your local Subaru dealer has prices starting as low as $56.96. See your Southern California Subaru dealer.
What tougher test for tires than racing competition? That's where the technology behind Bridgestone's RE71 was developed. Impressive tire, but where should you buy it? 4-Day Tire Stores, where you receive superior service for your custom wheels. 4-Day's new European changers mount your Bridgestone tires without touching the outside of your wheels. All foreign cars and all custom wheels torqued by hand. Bridgestone tires at 4-Day Tire Stores, open Wednesday through Saturday to save you money.
It's here, Levitt's fabulous fall sale. And wait till you see the bargains. Imagine, choose 18th century or country style 3-piece bedroom for only $397. Or pick this contemporary or French provincial 3-piece bedroom for only $497. Or this white lacquered dresser, mirror, and headboard. Or this black lacquer bedroom with headboard and 2 nightstands. Your choice, $597.
You'll love it at Levitt.
The Japanese Prime Minister Yasuhiro Nakasone formally apologized today for remarks considered by many Americans to be racist. The rare public apology was issued in response to statements made by Nakasone that the intelligence level in the United States was below that of Japan because of the minority population. The apology today was read by the Japanese ambassador.
I realize that my recent remarks have been offended many Americans. I would like to express my heartfelt apology. Let me make one thing very clear. I have always firmly believed that America's greatness derives from the dynamism and achievements of her many ethnic communities.
Nakasone's apology came less than a day after a group of congressmen denounced his remarks on the floor of the House. In the Middle East, British journalist David Hurst was kidnapped today in Beirut, but he managed to struggle his way to freedom just a short time later. The 48-year-old correspondent for The Guardian newspaper was en route from West Beirut to an assignment in the Christian sector of the city when a group of armed men approached his taxi. Hurst says the men literally grabbed him out of that taxi cab.
3 armed elements spotted a foreigner, forced me into their car, drove me blindfold, seat head down in the back of the vehicle, pistol at my head, to a place where they tried to get me out. I was lucky enough to be able to open the door of the car, fell onto the ground in a struggle. They became, I think, embarrassed at the attention that this was causing, and I managed to run away.
Hurst is a veteran reporter of the Middle East. He's lived in Beirut for 25 years. Despite recent terrorist attacks in Paris, the French Minister of Tourism was in Los Angeles today promoting travel to France. Warren Wilson reports that he has encouraging news for Americans going to his country.
The tourism marketing campaign included pictures of the beautiful French countryside, the great cathedrals, and the elegance of Paris, its restaurants and nightlife. It was in contrast to pictures seen all over the world, pictures of acts of terrorism in recent weeks. Today, a different picture was painted by the Secretary of State for French Tourism.
In a few words, I am meeting all of you key audiences in this matter to make it clear that France is a good address to visit and to stay here.
The French minister then visited his country's consulate offices in Beverly Hills. He encouraged trips to France to help cut back losses expected to total $800 million this year in tourist dollars. Despite the bombings, there was a constant stream of visa applicants.
I don't think we're afraid. We don't have any.
You're willing to take the risk?
This is the hassle. This is probably the biggest problem we've had, getting this visa.
I take a risk everywhere. I mean, he was really afraid to come to the United States because he's heard so many bad things about the States. You get mugged.
Descamps assured travelers that they would be safe against terrorism, citing increased security measures and the absence of bombings in the last few days with those measures in place. From the French consulate office in Beverly Hills, Warren Wilson, Channel 5 News at 10.
In an important political development, Senator Alan Cranston says he will not debate rival Ed Schau in the race for the United States Senate. Schau says that he repeats his challenge to Cranston to set the record straight in a debate. To you.
The union representing RTD bus drivers failed today to prevent the city attorney's office from reviewing driving records of more than 4,000 drivers. Steve Lentz reports from downtown Los Angeles.
The union says it's an invasion of privacy and violates the law. The city attorney says any driver who has operated a bus without the proper license may be prosecuted. Judge Warren Deering denied the restraining order, but set another hearing for an injunction to stop the city's investigation of drivers. It's a half victory for each side, with the investigation continuing and no names being made public.
Well, there are a lot of names there, and there are many pages, and we don't know whether we're going to have to make a hand search or whether we can utilize a computer. We really don't know how long it will take.
But what we object to is this broad sweep of asking for the names and driver's licenses of 4,626 drivers, almost all of whom are not under any investigation whatsoever.
The attorney for the bus drivers union is predicting that the investigation by the city attorney's office will turn out to be a big zero, that there will not be any bus drivers to prosecute. A hearing is scheduled for October 16th, and until that time, all names will be kept secret and not be made public. In downtown Los Angeles, Steve Lentz, Channel 5 News at 10.
And just ahead tonight, a $40 million cocaine bust in Southern California. And airline employees are charged with running a drug smuggling ring from Colombia to Miami. We'll be right back.
Chicago. Chicago. It's a wonderful town. And it'll be even more wonderful flying there in the comfort of an AirCal seat. Only AirCal flies you there nonstop from Orange County at a low $99 each way. Only $99 nonstop and only on AirCal. AirCal, we make flying easy.
Fire that musket, and I cuts his throat.
Anchors away. Captain Long John Silver's back on the high seas.
I hate John Silver.
A KTLA premiere of the Disney classic Treasure Island. Scoundrels beware.
Stand by for trouble.
There's pirates aplenty. And buried treasure to boot. Relive the adventure. Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. Saturday at 6 on Channel 5.
For K-Joy Radio, singer-composer Paul Anka.
Seasons change, so do we. Remember, K-Joy remembers the times of your life. Do you remember? K-Joy does, the times of your life.
And start these times with me, Roger Barkley, on KJOY FM 99.
In Miami, 22 Eastern Airlines employees were indicted today on charges of drug smuggling. The Eastern employees, along with one Mexicana Airlines employee, are accused of smuggling $1 billion worth of cocaine through the Miami International Airport. Federal prosecutors say the defendants used their positions as cargo and baggage handlers to hide 19 shipments of cocaine that originated in Colombia.
They could secrete it in the airplane itself until such time as the airplane was moved away from the apron where international flights arrived. They could then, at their leisure, unload surreptitiously the suitcases that were filled with cocaine.
At the same time, Eastern has announced it's firing 50 other airport service workers in Miami because of drug-related violations of company work rules. Here in Los Angeles, federal and local officials said today they seized $40 million worth of cocaine and more than $250,000 in cash. The statement was made by a joint task force. Officials say that 9 people were arrested in various locations throughout L.A. and Orange County. About 220 pounds of cocaine was seized during the operation. That joint task force was formed in July in an effort to stop air smuggling of narcotics. To you.
Composite drawings of the so-called Southside Killer tonight are posted on billboards and RTD buses throughout South Central Los Angeles. This massive billboard campaign is the combined efforts of police, religious leaders, city and county officials. They're urging the public to help find the man believed to have killed 17 women in the area.
I'm sure hundreds of thousands of people will be able to see this composite, and perhaps the person who recognizes this person will call us and we'll successfully apprehend the suspect.
We're tired of people killing and maiming, and we're getting them out under the guise of civil rights. No more.
The $35,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the killer is the largest amount ever offered by the city and county of Los Angeles. California's Chief Justice Rose Bird brought her reconfirmation campaign to Los Angeles today. She met with a senior citizen committee and answered some questions. Giselle Fernandez reports.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted.
The Chief Justice used her femininity with charm and urged the senior forum to dispel distorted campaign rhetoric.
I don't think this election is about the death penalty at all. It's about something very different. It's about power and who's going to wield it. It's about an institution and who's going to run it. I've never voted against the death penalty. I've never voted for it. None of us sit there and vote for or against it.
The seniors, mostly supporters, also had a chance to ask questions, unlike the press. Then there was a present and a wish for a rosy future. There were dissenters in the crowd, but outnumbered, none stepped forward. Some verbal complaints blasted the media for railroading Bird.
I feel, to quote, I feel that they're crucifying her.
All we hear on the news is what she's done and nothing about the issues why they want somebody else to take her place.
Whether for or against Rose Bird, the main controversy in this meeting seemed to center around media coverage of this campaign. The seniors complain the truth is being distorted in the press and that television can't reveal the true story in a minute and 30 seconds on the news. It remains to be seen what this animosity toward the press will have in the upcoming election. In Los Angeles, Giselle Fernandez, Channel 5, News at 10.
Back in just a moment with a look at the weekend weather picture.
Today, in the year 1986, why would a family turn to Christian Science healing? If the question interests you, then please hear the answer. You are warmly invited to a free 1-hour lecture entitled, What Does It Take to Follow Christ? Over the next few days, this lecture will be given throughout Southern California. Please call area code 213-663-9651 for specific times and locations. Admission is free, and there will be no collection.
Call your travel agent or Amtrak about low All Aboard America and $7 return fares.
Dreyfus meets with his accountant.
Your sources of income? Dreyfus Tax-Exempt Bond Fund? Dreyfus Intermediate Tax-Exempt Bond Fund? Dreyfus Money Market Tax-Exempt Fund? Again, no federal tax. Dreyfus California Tax-Exempt Bond Fund? No federal tax, no state tax. No wonder you're king of tax-exempt bond funds. Shall we have lunch?
The Critics' Choice Tartuffe. This stunning production has been extended again, so you can see it now at the LA Theater Center downtown.
What's the old song? There's been a change in the weather. To you as there's tale.
Yes, a change in our forecast. We thought we might get a Santa Ana condition this weekend, but the low moving out of our area stopped, and a cold front that moved through Northern California today is expected to drop southeastward over the weekend. For us, that means partly cloudy skies and a chance of showers over the Owens Valley and northern coastal and mountain areas through Sunday morning, clearing Sunday afternoon. Well, snow in the higher elevations has prompted travelers' advisories in the Sierras north of Yosemite. And closer to home, even Mammoth has some snow, but only about 4 inches of the white stuff bound to melt. In Utah, however, at the Snowbird Ski Resort, they got 40 inches of snow, 24 at Park City and Powder Mountain, and the ski season's supposed to be 2 months away. Well, severe thunderstorms with torrential rain, hail, and high winds moved across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the upper Ohio Valley. Tornadoes touched down in Indiana, Oklahoma, flood watches in Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, and western New York tonight, and high temperatures continue to soar over the southeastern quarter of the country. Here in Los Angeles, 74 today's high, 55 was last night's low. And it is going to continue chilly at night with daytime highs near 70 this weekend, very fall-like indeed. Partly cloudy at the beaches and cool, with temperatures 67 at Santa Monica, 72 in the Orange County area. Surfs averaging 2 to 3 feet at Zuma and Newport Huntington, and even 2 at Santa Monica and 3 to 4 near San Diego. Gusty winds at times in the mountains and deserts, 68 the high in the northern desert, 78 near Palm Springs, and a brisk 56 at the mountain resorts, below freezing there tonight. And the official forecast at the Civic Center, partly cloudy with a high of 69. Tonight's slide, we can't leave this out. This is the skyline of New York City, and our thanks to Jim Stevenson of Point Pleasant, New Jersey for submitting this. Here's our address if you want to send in a slide, P.O. Box 500, Los Angeles, 90078. And that's it for weather. It is going to continue unseasonably cool. Hell.
Okay, to you, we will be back with more for you right after this.
Tools, any kind of tools, for every kind of job. One place and one name give you more good choices than anywhere else. Sears and Craftsman.
There's more for your life at Sears.
Ladies and gentlemen. Not everyone got a vacation this summer.
Great Gregory!
I need a vacation like nobody's business. I need a vacation.
This fall, you can still get great low fares to more places on the biggest bargain airline, United.
I got a vacation.
Give me another shot at it.
And I'm not just flying, I'm flying the friendly sky.
Nice soft landing.
The typical cereal is a monotone of flakes. But Quaker 100% Natural is a whole symphony of taste. Quaker 100% Natural. A symphony of taste.